Hello everyone, welcome to Cryptid Unscripted. It's May 2025, I'm in Bradley Woods in North East Lincolnshire, just outside the town of Grimsby. I'm here because back in 2019 there was a report of a Bigfoot. A lady out for a walk on a Saturday afternoon claimed she saw and took a photograph of a Bigfoot that was walking alongside her in the trees. It was reported in Grimsby Live and the Grimsby Telegraph newspaper. I'll put a link in the description to this one, to that article if you'd like to read it. I was a bit dubious because it's not the biggest area of woodland in the world. If I turn around you can see the road just behind me there, a little car park, and very shortly you'll see a car go across on the road. That is the boundary of the wood. There's an even smaller wood on the other side, Dixon Wood, but that is tiny. And if you look this way, basically just along there is the extent of the wood. It's not the biggest woodland and it's even less wide than it is long. Now, I'm not the first person to come in as a result of this Bigfoot sighting. I'll put a link again in the description to another video, a couple of gentlemen wandering about looking at tree damage and things. We'll have a bit of a look round. What does give it a bit of credence and credibility is the fact that there have been other sort of similar reports or in the general area, not a million miles away. So we'll have a quick look and see what we can see. So I've had a lot of people comment on, or seen a lot of people comment in other videos about tree damage and things, but I don't think people realise always how windy it gets around here. If you look at Grimsby on a map, it's just down from the corner where the Humber Estuary meets the North Sea, and it is a very windy spot, and even if the wind's coming from not off the sea or the river, there's a lot of flat land to the west as well, so there's not much to stop the wind, and it picks up speed and it really does give us a battering, so we do get a lot of tree damage. People, for example, have made things of this, like this bit of tree trunk laid across a ditch there. You'll see quite a few of those. I regularly walk my dog Alfie, who is here, in another woodland in the Grimsby area. They're both managed by North East Lincolnshire Council, and you do find these tree trunks laid across the ditches, so I think it's probably something that they're doing. Again, you can see the tree laid down. That's probably just storm damage, to be fair. There's other bits and pieces. There's a bent branch there, and if you can see that, let me just wander forward. You know, yeah, it could be a Bigfoot bending the branch to build a structure. They have been known to build structures like that. Equally, it could just be a tree that's been blown over at some point and has started to grow at a strange angle. You can hear the creaking there of that one that's leaning. That's obviously blown down in a storm. There's nothing unusual about that one, it's just leaning on the other one there, and you can hear the creaking as it moves about in the wind. It is quite windy this morning. It's early May 2025, but it is quite windy and a little bit wet as well this morning. But again, you can see behind me there storm damage, bent branches and things, but again I think that's more that it's just started to grow at a weird angle rather than it's been deliberately placed there. And probably the same there, you know, it does look a little bit like a Bigfoot structure, but I reckon it's probably more a force of nature. There's also supposed to be a ghost in these woods as well, a lady in black who walks around the woods looking for a husband who I believe was murdered and a son who was snatched and taken away by some invading soldiers. So yeah, there's been a ghost lady seen as well. I don't think there's anything off this morning. I've obviously got the dog with me. He's not reacting to anything apart from the smell of other dogs. And as you can probably hear, the birds are singing quite happily up in the trees. There was a bit of a knocking noise there, but I think that's just one of the trees, again, bending and swaying in the wind this morning. I mean, again there you've got some bent over branches and things, you know, is it a Bigfoot structure or is it just that the tree has happened to grow that way? I don't know. As I say, I'll put a link in the description to this video, to another video by some different people, and they take a really good look around these woods and look at the various bent over trees and things. I don't know, obviously, you know, Bigfoots, as I say, are known to build structures, you know, wood walls, whatever you want to call them, but they build structures that involve bending branches. But I regularly walk the dog, as I say, in another wood, and you see things like this all over the place. It's I think it's possibly part of the forestry management, or it's just, you know, how the trees have grown because of the strong winds and things. But it might be something else, it might be a Bigfoot structure, I don't know. But I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions. I can just show you what's there and you can have a look at it and see what you think for yourself. I'm not going to say it one way or the other. So we've got these strange indentations and kind of almost looks like drag marks. I mean, again, it could be something unusual. There's some molehills there, so we've obviously got moles around the place. But as you can see, there's a few bits of tree trunk knocking around and branches and stuff that people have obviously put there. You know, kids messing about perhaps, have obviously dragged them, and I'm guessing that's what's caused this. Somebody's just dragged a branch or a tree trunk along the ground and it's just dug in every now and again. Again, it might not be, it might be something else completely, but you know, I can just show you. You can just see them there. It does look a bit like a footprint, I suppose, but again, it could be caused by, as I say, a tree trunk digging into the ground and just going along and then coming back out again. We've not had a lot of rain recently, so the ground is quite hard in places. Obviously you get soft bits in woodland as well, where the sun doesn't get in. So again, it's probably dug in to the soft bit and then hit a hard bit and come back up again. But, you know, it could be something more. Again, I'll just show you what we've got and you can make your own conclusions. I'm not going to say one way or the other, you know, oh, it's, you know, there's definitely a Bigfoot. There isn't at the moment. It's about 10:30 on a Sunday morning. There's quite a lot of dog walkers about, as you probably saw when I filmed the car park, as I was showing you where the road is. There's a lot of cars in the car park and past quite a number of dog walkers, and some of those slightly odd people who walk around woods without a dog as well. But yeah, not quite sure what's going on there. But any self-respecting Bigfoot, you know, big cat, ghost, etc., anything that might be in here will have scarpered a long time ago because there's lots of people about. And as I said, there's no off feeling in particular. The birds are singing quite happily. Yeah, there's no strange feelings in particular. Got some horse hoof prints there. Yeah, we've got a bent tree there. That looks like it's just grown that way. It doesn't look like it's been pulled over. It just appears to have grown at a strange angle for whatever reason. It's probably blown over a long time ago and just kind of been like that a long time. But yeah, you know, it could be something more. Bit of creaking there going on. Again, it's one of the trees just moving around. As you can see, there's quite a few that are not in the best of health, that are just looking to probably snap. But yeah, I'm not one of those channels that's going to tell you that everything I see is, you know, the result of a Bigfoot wandering about and things. I mean, you know, it may well be. But, you know, there's probably a much more innocent explanation for a lot of it. That it's just a combination of wind, people messing about, etc. But yeah, to show you the extent or lack of, you can just about see a car making its way out the car park in the distance down there. And if I go around, that is the end of the wood there. So it's not the biggest wood in the world. It goes just a few yards really over there. It's not very far at all to the edge of it. And it's not much further to the other edge through there either. So we've got another horse's hoof print there, but there's a big sort of triangular indentation there. What's that? I'm guessing it's just a footprint or a horse hoof print that's kind of gone awry in the mud when it's been wet and it's dried like that. But you know, again, could be something more, who knows. If anybody's watching this who's a bit more of an expert than I am, then again, you can make your own conclusions. But yeah, as you can see, it's a lovely spot, although it is a Sunday morning and there are a few dog walkers about, certainly back there towards the car park. A lot of it's pretty quiet. You can see that, you know, away from the daytime when everybody's here kind of thing, it would be quite a secluded environment for anything to live in that didn't really want to be seen by people to spend the night in. But yeah, a couple more shots before we get to the end of the woodland and I'll tell you about the other sightings that lend a bit of credibility to all this. So we're just on the path at the edge of the wood now, but you can see, if you look back into it, it is an absolute wilderness in parts, although there are clearly defined paths that we've walked down and that other people walking dogs, etc. walk down. You can see through there it is a complete wilderness. So again, if anything wanted to sort of not be seen by people, it could go in there, even though it's, you know, a fairly small wood. It's not easily accessible in many places. I mean, this is an odd one. Is that storm damage there? You know, has that tree just grown that way, or has that actually been put there to form a kind of shelter thing? It's a bit of an odd one. You know, is it buried in the ground at this end? I can't really see. No, it appears to be just laid on the ground. But again, has it blown down in the past and just kept growing that way, or has it been deliberately bent over? I'll let you have a look and make your own mind up. So I've just popped out at the edge of the wood just to finish the video. You can see the wood behind me there. If you look across there, you can see, well, Lincolnshire basically, just mile after mile of fields, bits of heathland, bits of woodland. Probably about 12 or 13 miles in that direction is Humberside Airport, and I mentioned at the start of the video there have been other sightings in the area, or other events. About a year or so after the one that was reported in Bradley Woods, about 2020-2021, two gentlemen were driving along the A18 near Humberside Airport. They described themselves as paranormal investigators, and they came across two deer legs laid in the middle of the road. This was, you know, in the early hours of the morning, I think. Now it's really strange. I mean, there've been reports of big cats in the North Lincolnshire and North East Lincolnshire area, but obviously a big cat wouldn't normally shear off two of the deer's legs, just leave them in the road. Similarly, anybody hunting or shooting, if they'd shot a deer, they wouldn't just lop two legs off and leave them in the road. So it was really, really strange. But one of the witnesses said that he'd, at some point recent to that, he'd been driving along the same stretch of road, the A18 near Humberside Airport, and he'd seen a big dark figure run across the road in front of him and just dart through the hedgerow. Quite very, very tall apparently. But I'll put a link again in the description to the article there. That was reported in Grimsby Live as well. So there have been other sightings and events in the area. But again, as always on this channel, I'll leave you to make your own mind up. I'm not going to make any conclusions for myself. But as always, thank you for watching. Take care, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.